Hi, so I'm in my yoga studio, Yoga Veda in Port Adelaide today, and I wanted to give you a really beautiful, simple evening sequence that you can do at the end of your day, just to really start getting yourself into a nice, soothing nighttime routine. This is a yin-based yoga sequence, and yin is ideal for the closing part of your day, after lunchtime onwards into your evening, to help calm and soothe the nervous system. So you don't need anything too fancy for this particular practice, and for a yin practice in general. We do use props, which I have available here, but you can use some substitutions such as rolled up towels or blankets. Improvise, you're only limited by your imagination. The first thing that we're going to do is a very gentle breathing exercise called the 4-part Taoist breath. So it's in 4 parts. Now make sure that you have a comfortable seat for you. So at the moment I'm sitting in César, which is basically a kneeling position, but you can pop yourself onto a blanket or a support, elevate yourself if that's going to be gentler on your knees. You can bring the knees out a little bit wider if that's more comfortable, or you can even take a seated position just with the legs crossed, perhaps popping a little bit of a blanket support just under your tailbone, just to prop the hips up a little bit more so that you feel fairly comfortable and settled in your seat. So we start with a 4-part Taoist breath. So we're going to take an inhale together. Inhaling, we're drawing chi, vital life force up, gathering it in our hands, cupping the hands towards the shoulders, and as we exhale, we're going to push that chi, that energy out, dismissing all the toxicity of your day. The next inhale, we're going to curve the spine forward. Draw the hands along the floor, coming up, almost like water dripping off the fingertips. And then as we exhale, the hands are going to gently float back down. Not too much strain in the shoulders, just keeping everything really soft. We're ready for our next inhale. We breathe in, inhaling, cupping the hands towards the shoulders, and we exhale to push out and away, dismissing that negative energy from your day. We're going to come for the inhale, curve the spine, drape the fingers. And then the exhale, we come down. One more of those. Inhaling, drawing the energy in. Exhale, pushing the energy out. Curving forward for your next inhale. Draw the arms up. And coming down, resting the hands over the dantian. It's essentially just over your lower abdomen. You can close your eyes and just feel into the body. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit calmer, more centered and grounded than when you started. You can do this breath for many more repetitions. You can do it at any time throughout your day. It's a nice balancing tool. The next thing we're going to move on to is a toe stretch, and this is to nourish your feet, which often get a lot of abuse if you're standing for long periods in the day, or if you wear terrible shoes. So we're going to be coming up to a kneeling position, and we want to be popping the toes underneath. So I'll just take my sock off so you get a little bit of a better view of my foot. So we're curling the toes underneath. Now for many people this is already pretty excruciating. We're not about excruciation in yin, we're about keeping it nice and gentle and soft. So to make things easier, you may want to come forward on all fours. It's going to reduce the amount of pressure on your toes. If this is feeling great for you, sit back onto those heels, put that extra weight down through the toes. If you're coming forward for that option, you can also add in an additional wrist stretch by popping the hands underneath, out to the side, or really in any configuration that you want. You can stay upwards and pull back on the hands. The addition of the wrist stretch is to really stretch out your forearms in particular. If you've done a lot of keyboard work during the day, then you get this added benefit from your wrist stretch, and you're reducing the amount of pressure on your feet. So if you get tight plantar fascia, this is a really, really great exercise for you to particularly do at the end of the day, just to reduce the tension build up in that plantar fascia in the feet. This area, if we can loosen and open, will also assist your hamstring flexibility as well due to the fascia lines in the body. So toe stretch, we can hold this for a few minutes if you can. Just see how you go. Even 2 minutes is amazing. Even 1 minute is amazing. You may want to come in and out if you need. So our next pose is going to be Sphinx, which in traditional yoga is more of an active pose, but for Yin, we want to keep this very, very passive. So for my Sphinx pose, I'm going to bring my body down to the floor, and you can have your legs out at whatever width feels comfortable for you. And we want some support. So I happen to have a bolster here. So I'm going to roll that and pop that underneath my rib cage to give my upper body some support. And then my hands are able to be quite passive on the floor. I'm not having to really hold myself here. And that's the purpose of Yin. We want to have the body as soft as possible. So from your Sphinx pose, all we're aiming to achieve is a nice stretch and opening of the abdominal wall. So particularly if you've spent a lot of your day seated and hunched over, this is amazing. If you've had a pretty big dinner, this can also be good too, just to assist your digestion. And again, just legs can be at any distance that feels comfortable for you. This version of the Sphinx pose can also be held for 3 to 5 minutes. You're welcome to set a timer for yourself, depending on how much time you have available. If you're not minding the compression in your lower back and that's feeling okay for you, you can take this pose a little further by actually removing that bolster, bringing the arms out really wide because they're kind of splinting the body up and coming into seal. So we want the arms quite wide. The hands can be facing out or forward, whatever feels good for you. You're sort of stacking the bones of your arms so that you're actually splinting the body up into seal. Seal is quite a bit more active than Sphinx, so we don't want to be too active in a gentle evening Yin practice, so we won't hold this one for too long. Just if you're really feeling called to have that extra stretch and opening of the front side of the body. Beautiful. From here, we'll reach our way back, take a little rebound. So in our Yin practice, a rebound is essentially a recovery pose. So it just allows the body to take almost the opposite conformation that the original pose you were in had. It allows the body to recover, it allows the removal of any stagnation that crept into the body, and your rebound can be really whatever you like in many cases. I'm taking a little bit of a child's pose here, and you can rest your forehead down on the ground as well. So the rebound is normally about half the time that the original pose was. Next pose is all about our very neglected side lines, our side body, the fascia that connects the side of our body together. This is also the yin and yang connection in the body. So it's the gate of the front and back surface of the body. We want to actually activate and open this section out, which can get a lot of stagnation in energy and also anatomically in the tissues. So we can achieve this with a very, very simple banana bend, or just called banana, which is laying on the floor. So with my banana pose, let's get my bolster out of the way. I'm going to be laying down on your back, and we do one side at a time. So we're going to start with the arms stretched overhead, and we're going to shimmy the shoulders over to the right. So I'm not moving my hips or anything, I'm just shimmying my shoulders across the ground and making sure that if this opposite arm is lifting a little bit, that I pop maybe a blanket or a support, just so it's feeling like it's got somewhere to land. You're not kind of floating in the breeze unnecessarily. Once the upper body is over, we want to introduce the lower body to create this banana curve of the body. So I'm going to shimmy my legs over towards the same side. In this case, it's going to be the right. Now we don't want to go too far that things start lifting up or hinging into the lower back, just enough to induce this really nice curve, and coming to the right, you will start to feel a beautiful opening and stretch on the left side of the body. This pose is really wonderful to hold for 5 minutes or even more. It's more of a subtle pose. You don't often feel anything too strenuous or obvious, maybe in the first minute or so. And that's what Yin is about. It's more of the subtle. So we're looking for a 60% sensation is sort of the point that you will land in your pose, and then you allow the time to work its magic. So the Yin poses we hold for several minutes at a time. It's one of the beautiful things of this practice, because by being still for minutes at a time in a gentle posture,
It really signals to the nervous system to start unwinding, calming down, releasing any stress of your day, which is why yin practice is so beautiful in the evening, to really just calm the nervous system down, get rid of any excess, anything from your day that no longer serves you, so you can enjoy a restful evening and a good night's sleep. So after we've had our banana on this side, we would then come back to center. Have a little neutral time here just to reassess, and then you can come straight over to the left, because by coming over to the left in your banana, you're essentially rebounding from the right because you're opposing sides. An extra thing you may want to consider is if you're wanting a little bit more of a stronger sensation, or you're already quite open in your side body, you can add an additional ankle cross. Either way, test with your body, because every body is different depending on what serves you best. The ankle cross is a nice little extra addition that you can have to your banana on both sides. And finally, to keep this sequence nice and simple and short, we're going to go into a beautiful twist. So twists are so essential for our body. We actually don't do enough twisting anymore. You know, we've got reversing cameras in our cars. We just don't twist the body, and we really need to. The spine is designed for twisting, particularly the neck and the thoracic spine in particular. So we just want to do a very simple twist, and we start this by bending the knees. You can leave the knees just in this bent position, or if you would like, we're going to twist towards the right, so you can cross your left leg over the top of your right leg. Leaving them as they were or taking the cross, it's up to you. Arms are going to come out to the side, and then we just simply drop the knees over towards the right. Now, for some people, you're going to have a lot of stiffness and rigidity in the fascia tissue in your lower back. So you might want to actually have a little support here for the knee to actually drop onto, grabbing that blanket that you used earlier, just allowing that knee to have somewhere to land as the body is getting used to opening here. Similarly, the left shoulder in this case may be lifted quite high off the floor. You can support that by popping a prop underneath, or you can actually just enjoy the work of gravity, stretching, bringing that arm a little closer to the ground and opening across that chest and that shoulder a little bit more. Whatever best serves you. If you want to bring the twist into your neck, you have the option of actually twisting your head to the opposite side, taking a bit of a double twist. So again, the twist can be held. You can stay here provided you haven't overextended yourself from the start into potentially 3-5 minutes or even longer. Making sure that you focus on your breath, breathing the entire time, not holding or straining. If you are straining in a yin pose, you're overdoing it. Less is certainly more here. When you are ready, you would then come out of this twist, and you can have a little rebound in the middle. I really like taking something like a dovetail position with my legs. So it means I'm dropping my knees in so they meet each other and they're supported. My feet come out as wide as they need to allow that to happen. It's a really nice option to really settle the lower back onto the floor, the sacrum, the lumbar area. Maybe taking a minute for yourself here, or 30 seconds, before of course switching over, because we need to do our other side. So in this case, heading towards our left side, we'd be crossing our right leg over our left, taking the arms out to the side, or even over the head. Experiment with your arm position, and then dropping the knees over to take your twist over to the opposite side. Again, holding this position for as long as you would like. It's really nice to keep a timer as an option when you're doing a yin practice, so that the timer, you just set it and it will just give you a nice gentle reminder when the time is up, so you can keep your practice nice and easeful. You don't have to be keeping an eye on the clock. Try and have that timer alarm set to something really gentle so it's not jarring your nervous system as you're emerging. So there you have it. That's a really nice, simple evening sequence. You can really stretch it out as long as time permits, making it really juicy, maybe half an hour to an hour, or keeping it quite short depending on how long you hold each pose, and maybe leaving some in and taking some out. I hope that's been really useful for you.
Have an awesome day and see you next time.